Please, everyone gather round. I've got an announcement to make. Down the trumpets. Listen closely. A long, long time ago was a girl named Lindsay.
Wow, wow, wow. The time has finally come. We are here at the end of season 1. This is episode 4 of What You Ask? Of Wimpy. We Improv makes podcasts for you with me, Jake Jabor. I can't believe I'm already messing this up 4 episodes in. Thanks so much for checking this out. I hope you've listened to some of the other episodes. I hope you've liked them. And I hope you've scrolled through anything that you found not worth your time. I hope that was just me talking. I think the interviews are very much worth your time, and I think the improv sets are absolutely worth your time. Let me do a little plug up top, a little shout out. Go to weimprov.org and check out our workshops, classes, shows, and merchandise. Buy my book, Elevator Farts, Exercises, Offers, and Notes of Encouragement for Improvising. You can get it at my website in digital or paperback. That's the best way to support me. That gives the least amount of money to the corporate machine. But if you want to buy it from the corporate machine, it's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And you can leave a review there if you bought it from me or if you bought it from them. That would help a ton. I haven't mentioned the We memberships. Maybe you live in Los Angeles and you're interested in We, or you're interested in improv and you don't have a ton of money to throw around because you live in Los Angeles and it's fucking expensive. So you can sign up for a We membership. It's the best way to support We, which is what NPR says about NPR and what Vidiot says about Vidiots. But for as little as $10 a month, you can get 10% off any workshops, and you get a monthly drop-in workshop. So for $10 a month, you can show up and do a workshop every month. And you know that you're helping support independent, local, small business, improvised comedy. And you get something in return. You're not just giving me money. You can also do $20 a month. You still get 10% off. You get the drop-in. You get a T-shirt. And you get a mashup show. And then if you're so interested and you have a team, the team can sign up. And you can get shows twice a month, along with the discounts and the merchandise and the drop-ins and the mashups. Or you can get shows 4 times a month. This is really my attempt to say, let's build this together. I promise you, I am not making a lot off of this. If you knew how close I was to making my rent this month, you would probably be scared for me. And I'm not asking for pity. I'm just saying that the idea behind all of this is to make sure that the shows are free and that the classes are affordable and accessible. And speaking of, we have tiered pricing. So thanks to the memberships, now you can select a price tier for you so that you can access improv at any point. And I hope that helps. I think people should have access to improv and access to stage time. So go to weimprov.org, or if you have any questions, email me at weimprovcomedy@gmail.com. I'm also teaching an improv curriculum and teaching seminar Saturday, December 14th and Sunday, December 15th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time online. We're going to blueprint a curriculum and execute a workshop. I'm just going to take you through how I built a We workshop, a 4-week curriculum, and then how I built an individual lesson plan. Then we'll build one together, and then you'll have the resources and templates to build your own. So whether you're in Los Angeles or some other part of the world, if you want to build a workshop or build a curriculum, here's the tools I've used. A lot of them are research-backed and come from the master's degree I got at LMU for instructional strategy. So it's a real steal of a deal because I'm charging $60 and my master's degree cost me $80,000, of which the government is not getting from me. I also have a couple other classes. There's lots of classes open right now, but I wanted to highlight another online class, the humor writing class with Katie Barsotti. She's been published in the New Yorker Shouts and Murmurs and McSweeney's, Woolly Mag, and she'll help you write a humor piece. Done this before. People absolutely love it. So check that out. And we also have a workshop from Celia Gurney called Mix It All Together. This one's in person. It's leveraging your other interests and commitments to go further in comedy. Celia is going to share her experience about taking her interests and commitments to move her career forward, give some tips, resources, and help you expand your own possibilities and potentials. And I think that's it. That's enough plugs. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about trust. Trust is a focus of my day 4 in the Inner Game of Improv workshop, which is a workshop based off the book, The Inner Game of Tennis. An excellent book. Has nothing to do with improv. I think will change the way you improvise. But I talk about trust in that workshop. And sometimes we do a silent soundtrack because you're not able to verbalize. Really have to trust. Sometimes we don't because people tell me that they hate it. And at my heart, I am codependent and a people pleaser. But here's some things I've been thinking about with trust. When I explain trust in improv, it's trusting yourself. Not most improvisers are pretty good at trusting their scene partners. Although, if you'll allow me, because I'm only 6 minutes in, and I think I can do this quickly, I will say that I have seen a decline in trust of teammates lately. I've seen it in Los Angeles, and it is bumming me out. I have seen what I would call soft blaming. And that's when people are going over the show or they're getting notes and people make comments like, isn't it true that if you're in one of the first beats, you shouldn't initiate the group game? Or wouldn't this have been better if we had explicitly labeled? Or I found it difficult that the next scene was starting from something from the previous scene. Is that what we're supposed to do? And I understand people are voicing their frustrations and their confusion, but it feels like it's always aimed at a teammate. And my big response to that is, if you are worried about what your teammate is doing, that's the reason the scene is not working. It has nothing to do with the rules we should be following or that somebody didn't do what they were supposed to. Because there is no supposed to. It's everybody improvising. Every rule and principle and technique, at least in We Improv, comes from the place of this tends to work the most. Doesn't mean it's the only thing that works, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it. And if you're on stage in your head about the rules or what you have to do, you're probably not relaxed. You're probably not present. And so relax. So this idea about trust, I'm expanding beyond just trusting yourself and learning to trust your teammates and learning to trust who you're on stage with. I think that there are so many more improvisers in Los Angeles now, and people are mixing and mingling and doing drop-ins and trying out different schools, and that is tremendous. But that's going to take a lot longer to build trust throughout a community. And in some instances, you never will. It's just too many people. There's that idea of like, I don't know, it's in some Malcolm Gladwell book, which I think we don't talk about Malcolm Gladwell. But Gore-Tex company, I think, capped their employees at 130 or something because they found the way it broke down any more than that, then people didn't know each other well enough to effectively communicate and manage. That's all to say, we've got so many improvisers and everybody is mixing and matching that it's hard to build trust. And I get that. So what can we do? How can we build some more trust? Well, here's something that's from the book, The Inner Game of Tennis. Letting it happen is not making it happen. It is not trying hard or controlling your shots. This is the ego and comes from mistrusting our inner selves. It produces tight muscles, rigidity, awkward, forced moves. It results in missed or mid-hit moves and frustration. It's doubt. So, when you don't trust your teammate, when you don't trust yourself, it's coming from a place of doubt. We can let go of that doubt. You don't need to doubt your teammate. You don't need to doubt yourself. Here's another part from the book. It's my favorite part. We are seeds of trees, not buildings that need another floor. Your entire potential is already within you. Don't compare yourself to other trees or be upset at your growth not being what you want. Simply use the rain and sunshine that comes your way and cooperate with the seed's impulse to develop and manifest what it already uniquely is. Letting go means letting go of the attachment to the idea of controlling your own development. If a scene doesn't go the way you want, it's not your fault. It's not your teammate's fault. It didn't go that way, and that is exactly what it needed to do so that you learned from it. Every scene is improvised and unscripted, but every scene you experience is the exact scene you need to experience. Even if you experience the same thing happening to you 3 or 4 times, it's telling you something. It's telling you, maybe this isn't a team I want to play on regularly, or maybe I need to try something else, or maybe I need to let go. I promise, for the most part, all the scenes that you are in are going to help with your development. In the book, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, he talks about how each creation is in service to the next one. Each experience is in service to the next experience. And there are some awful things that happen in improv scenes, and that I don't wish upon anybody. And I hope that we can minimize those and work to create a safe space and community overall. But a scene that falls apart because it wasn't what you intended is fine. Go in with inspiration. Don't go in with intent. And the trust that you are exactly where you need to be as an improviser. If you do 100 scenes, you're going to develop as an improviser who's done 100 scenes. If you've done 50, you'll develop as an improviser who's done 50. If you've done 1,000, you'll develop as an improviser who's done 1,000. I can give you every tip and trick, secret, and thing that I've written down, but it's not going to be a substitute for the experience of improvising. So trust that the choices you make, the way you respond to scenes, helping with your development. Trust your teammate that they are in the same boat as you. I promise. It's going to be okay. You're going to forget more scenes than you remember. And the last thing I want to talk about with trust, I teach from the perspective of surprise and inevitability. That in order for a scene to work, it needs to be inevitable, meaning what happens feels like the only thing that could happen, and yet surprising. How it happens should surprise us. It's a storytelling technique that goes as far back to Aristotle, used in screenwriting, and it's very applicable to comedy. You want to tell the audience, here's what's going to happen, but you don't want to tell them how it's going to happen. That gives them expectations that you can meet in surprising ways or subvert, but the audience needs expectations. So when we think about trust, trust is on that same scale. And when you start improvising, and when you're on a new team, most of what's happening is surprising because you don't know how the other people play. You might not even know how you play. So to keep that balance, if the people you are playing with are surprising, if your style of play is surprising, meaning it's unknown, there's not a ton of inevitability to what you and your scene partners are going to do or how you played it well, pick very inevitable scenes, pick relationships, pick best friends, pick dates, pick doctors, pick coworkers. Do stuff that feels fairly recognizable to the majority. And then once you start to play with people and their style of play moves from surprising to inevitable, and you understand what somebody's strengths are and where they work and the types of scenes they do well with and the ones they have the most fun with and the types of scenes you do with them, your trust starts to move to the inevitable side. Your trust in yourself and your trust in your teammates. That starts to become inevitable. That starts to become slightly more guaranteed, slightly more consistent. Then move the types of scenes you do into the surprising territory. Go on spaceships, travel through time, play in fairy tales, be amoebas. Because those are surprising environments, surprising situations, surprising characters. But if you start your improv career or journey with people you do not know, doing scenes you have no familiarity with, it's going to be all surprise. And that's going to put you in a state of distress. And if you're in a state of distress, your frontal lobe shuts down, which turns off your executive functioning, and you go into survival mode or fight or flight. So then you stop participating or you pick fights and you make every scene a conflict. Because if you can establish that you're right, there's some security with it. And our executive functioning is responsible for active listening and organizing and remembering and making lists, which are essential skills to improvising. So you want to feel comfortable, but you also want to feel surprised. That's why you're improvising. So find that balance. If you're new to a team, new to a class, new to a workshop, new to a drop-in, pick familiar ideas, familiar locations, familiar relationships, because who you step out with and how you respond to each other will be surprising enough. And if you've been playing with somebody for a while and you want to keep it exciting and challenge yourself, pick new environments, pick new responses, pick the outside your comfort zone moves, because you've developed trust with that person. And remember that trust, there is no shortcut to that. And we can't do trust falls in an improv scene. You can do them and people will fall. And that's generally what happens. We don't catch people. And then we start to do that soft blaming. Aren't you supposed to have caught me? Wasn't I supposed to have been caught? And the other person is now going to be defensive. Means they are not going to hear what you have to say. They're not going to hear the note. And the truth is, nobody needs to be defensive. If we're defensive, we're not open. If we're not open, we're not vulnerable. If we're not vulnerable, we're not bringing our truth to it. And improv relies heavily on truth. So trust each other. Trust that there is going to be parts of this that are surprising and scary, and that's okay. But if you can give each other the grace of knowing that we're learning to play with each other, and that's surprising enough. So let's pick some easy topics and easy ideas. And then we can move towards the middle by feeling more comfortable playing with each other and picking more obscure and abstract ideas. I feel like I went over that and over that. So I apologize. God, I'm back at 18 minutes. All right. This is our final episode of season 1. We have the brilliant Martin James for the interview. He is from Glasgow and was recently in Los Angeles. He put Josh Simpson and I up when we did a international tour. He has started an improv scene in Glasgow, and he just had so many incredible things to say about building an improv scene and letting go of it and trust, honestly. And then improv from the always exciting. They're going to, I know they're going to reach out and go like, you sure did pause before you said exciting. But I was trying to think of a way to accurately express what it is to watch a STEM Kidz show, which is I'm usually on the edge of my seat. I'm usually a little nervous, and I'm usually always laughing at something that I wish had not been introduced into my brain. but since it's there, it's making me laugh very hard. All right. Thanks for listening to Wimpy. We'll see you next season. Bye. Ta-ta.
Please, everyone gather round.
We've already been talking. I'm here with Martin James. This is my first. Hello, Martin. You're my first in-person interview for this.
Oh, wow. Honored.
Yeah, I'm honored to have you. You're in town from. How much of your spot can I blow up? You're in town from Glasgow?
Yeah, you can blow up all the spots.
Okay.
I'm presuming when people hear this, I'll be long gone. If anyone's trying to assassinate me.
Yeah.
We're at the wee improv space, which is very nice.
Thank you so much.
Here.
Your first time here, yeah. And how often do you visit Los Angeles?
So I used to go once a year.
Yeah.
Up until the pandemic. So last time I was here was like the end of 2019. So it was like right before the pandemic hit. And then I've not been back since. So it's literally 5 years.
Wow, 5 years.
But this is like my 6th time in LA. And pretty much apart from that first time, every other time I came, it was to take like a level of UCB classes up to 401.
Okay. So well, I guess kind of where I want to start then is coming in and seeing it for these snapshots. What has been maybe your overall takeaway, or what have you noticed changing over the times you've come in, especially since it's been 5 years?
Yeah, I think, well, there's all these people talk about all the different bubbles and when, when it was UCB was really at its peak and stuff. And I think there's maybe been a few different moments of those peaks, but yeah, I think when I was here in like 2016, 2017, it wasn't too long after like Sunset had opened, right? So that felt like a incredible time to start, but you only sort of realize that in retrospect because you're just like, oh, this must just be what it's like. It's like huge and really busy and all the shows are packed and yeah, it's very different now to see Sunset's closed now that I'm back. Shows are less well attended, I think it's fair to say. And yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, I'm still, I've only been a few shows just trying to see what has changed, but it seems as if there has been a lot of changes. Yeah,
you kind of came during sort of the rise or the peak of it, right? And I think I feel that improv is experiencing what stand-up experienced, where it's like the bubble may have burst a little bit, right? Like there is still an active, very active community, but
here's a question. Do you think it was the pandemic that like really made things take a bit of a nosedive, or do you think that would have just happened regardless?
That is a great question.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me on. I think it felt like the winds were turning anyways a little bit. I think it definitely added to that for sure, but I can't recall the exact timeline, but it was like Second City was kind of on their way out, I think.
Yes.
And IO was sort of, I remember before the pandemic going to a show at IO West that was Adam McKay and Ian Roberts. Is that right? Yeah. And they did like a 2-person half interview, half improv show. And I was like, I know that Adam and Sharna are good friends, and I was like, I wonder if she asked or if he offered as kind of a way to help boost they were sort of in a like, we need something to sort of generate, because I haven't seen him do improv or show up at shows ever except for that one time. And it did feel like they were trying to pull out all the stops to sort of keep afloat a little bit, and then I know they went under.
Did it work? Did it work?
No, it did not work.
I know. I was here during that time. I weirdly performed on the last night at iOS.
You did?
But it was on the they've got like different spaces, right? So
Yes.
this was like a smaller upstate.
Oh yeah, I'm
upstairs
familiar with
thing.
that. Yeah.
But it was just weird because I think we were the last show, and then they had their big like headline show with all. Is it like Neil Flynn?
Yes, yeah, the bear shark mice.
So I think we were on at the same time as them. Not a lot of people watching. A group of people from Scotland, and now that was them pulling out all the stops.
Yes,
Let's try a team from Glasgow.
We'll throw a team from Glasgow up in the loft. Yeah, so I think that the writing, and then I know that IO Chicago like had to change ownership or locations. Like the whole thing kind of, I think it was like, I don't know, resting on thin ice, and the pandemic may have broken that ice. It's actually remarkable that it came back.
Yeah.
Especially something like UCB. Like when movie theaters like the ArcLight were like, we're not coming back. I was like, well, that was a place that was charging $25 to see a movie, and they didn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think there's any way that UCB is coming back. Like, so it's been a pretty remarkable that they've done it, but it has certainly changed.
I think my theory for that, if you'd be interested to hear it, is the business models are slightly different. Like people aren't going to the movies as much, people aren't going to shows as much, but it's because there's students who want to do improv and learn improv, so you can sell classes, and that's like a lot of the economics and finances that are holding up improv, right? Is people taking the classes and then they go to the shows.
Yes.
So I think that's maybe why improv theaters can sort of sustain. I
think you're right. Absolutely. I mean, that's how we survives. My shows are free, and yeah, the workshops keep the lights on, and then the shows are for everybody to kind of come and hang out. And it is sort of an early UCB model where it was like when I came out here, shows were $5 or free, and now Herald Night is $15.
Yeah, it's insane to me. I'm like, because I'm used to, again, last few times I'm here, I have the student ID, so you get free for shows, but I'm just like, it's how much for us, Cat? This many dollars for improv? Because our shows in Glasgow, they're still like, we have a card reader set to £5, but a lot of people don't even donate that. So it's like a pay what you want free show.
That's a great sort of, I was going to say like, and now how do you feel? You're very close to it. What is your home theater, your home base in Glasgow? Like,
yeah, so that's the Glasgow Improv Theatre. So, like, the quick version of my story is I did, like, 101 at UCB in an intensive, and I came back and started a Harold Night, and then I went back and did all the levels after I started the Harold Night, but that became the Glasgow Improv Theatre.
And are you still doing a Harold Night?
Still doing the Harold Night. It only stopped over the pandemic.
Okay.
But, yeah, so it was my team, Couch, were the house team on it.
Yes.
And then we just handed it over to our house teams. We're in our third year of house teams, and that first year is when we finally handed it over to like two or three teams, and then Couch gets their own slot.
Wow. Okay.
So that was a big change, and that was very kind of gratifying.
And how long has that? When did that change happen?
So that was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So that was the difficult thing, and that was my plan all along. Like, there wasn't a long form scene, certainly, when I came back to Glasgow, and I'm like, how do I get it started? And I just looked at UCB as the blueprint, and it was just like, you need to teach people levels, and then you need to like put them so that they can know how to do a form correctly and do good improv, and then you need to put them into house teams, because we would just get inquiries from people like, how do I join? How do I do improv? And it's like, well, you put together a team, and they're like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you put together these house teams. So it took a number of years, like I guess that's 4 or 5 years maybe.
Wow.
To get to the point of getting our own house teams together.
And so now, that change over that same period of time that we're talking about in Los Angeles, do you feel that the change that's happened in Glasgow is like, it sounds maybe like it's more of a, now everybody kind of knows the blueprint and how to do it.
Yes, yeah. Another big challenge was like students can't see good improv in person. And you can point them to shows online and the audio's bad and it's not the best because it's not in person. But now that we have house teams and now that the house teams are starting to get good, it means the students coming through can see the shows. And then it's just so much easier to be like, oh, right, you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rather than me trying to explain it in a class. I'm not capable of doing that. So,
I think like that's been that was huge in my development is like, and I think I've said this before, but it's like I was always going to shows because that I learned so much from watching professionals.
Yeah.
In quotes, sort of.
That's how you get good.
Yeah, is like the observation. And so being able to do it here and having student shows coupled with the house team shows, it's like, then when we talk about the shows, I can cite stuff that happened with another team without sort of maybe highlighting a student in a way that's going to make them slightly defensive or something. So it's like, oh, I noticed that they did a courtroom scene or whatever. And it's like courtroom scenes are hard. Doesn't matter. No one knows how court works. They're always hard. But
we need to get improv students in court. They need to be able to see court.
Yes. Yeah. I don't require that they see 2 shows, but they do have to serve on a jury.
Or commit a crime. However you can get yourself in the courtroom.
Get in a courtroom, start taking notes. But rather than going like, that courtroom scene didn't work, and then them go like, oh, I made the wrong choice. And it's like, no, but I can go like, oh, there was another team that night, and we saw that they like put it in court or whatever, right? We saw that like no one understands it enough to establish a base reality. So it's everything is weird and the unusual behavior doesn't stand out or whatever. And so having the people that they're watching do very like fun, exciting improv and also sort of make the same choices that can be pitfalls or whatever and be like, see, this kind of happens regardless of who you are as an improviser. If you pick this scene, it's more challenging.
I think that's a great point. Like at the start of every class, like talking about the shows that people saw and encouraging them to be like, okay, that's great. That's what you liked. What did you not like? Or what did you think didn't work? And that's such a crucial part to their development.
It's really nice because improv is imperfect. So like you can always leave a show going like, I regret doing this or this didn't work or like, I try and encourage people to be non-judgmental about it, but people are like, I made a bad move or whatever. And it's like, I should have done that. And it's like, you can do that with literally every show. I suggest that people don't do that with their own improv so much as like, let your own improv be just kind of happening and then observe others and you can go like, oh, I see how that didn't work. And then you're able to sort of like, I once got this suggestion from my therapist, which is like, observe your life as if it's from a third person perspective. Like you're watching the movie because you'll be more sympathetic to the character than if you're like, I can't believe I did that. Like, I'm such an idiot. It's like, oh, if you were watching, you'd go like, oh, I see why that person made that choice. And so in improv, you can watch somebody and go like, oh, I see why they made that choice and I see how it didn't sort of work without carrying any sort of the like burden of regret, hopefully, of like, oh, I messed this up. Because it's like the other thing that I've been talking about lately is like people are like, would it have worked better if I did this? And it's like, maybe, but we'll never know because you didn't do that. Like, so don't build up a hypothetical scene that's better because you can always go like, my choice didn't work as well as a choice that we actually never saw.
Students always want like the correct answer like that to like very specific things, and it's hard to teach them like that specific doesn't matter. Here's like the general philosophy of how you should improvise. But I think your teaching philosophy is like great, and I try and steal it and remind myself of it all the time, of just positive reinforcement rather than negative notes. And catch myself, I'm still not very good at it, but I catch myself all the time trying to teach. I'm trying to get better at teaching, but I'll be able to watch a scene, and in my head, I just see the 50 things you did wrong.
Right.
And I really want to list them all.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you need to tell them maybe one thing they did wrong, but more importantly, maybe just skip that and just see what they did well.
Yeah. And it sounds like the community that is growing in there has benefited from that approach. Do you, how do you, because you said it was always my goal to have this. Did you have goals as a teacher? Like, you're sort of pioneering it, and how do you approach that? Like, how do you approach that in a place where there isn't a model coming before you?
Yeah, I think I was like a reluctant teacher, and it's probably only in the last couple of years that I've gotten into it more, and especially in this last year, I'm teaching like higher levels now, and really cracked a few things of like how to teach the pattern game so that the students love it, and that's really been successful this year. But yeah, I was just reluctant to get into teaching and to even probably run stuff initially, but it's like there's no one else to do it, and if I do want to do improv here, I just need to like start something and there's no one else that can do this stuff. There is now, and bringing in more teachers has been another really good part of it. So and that's the new challenge now, bringing in these new teachers, trying to give them the experience of teaching drop-ins and then trying to move them up into teaching full classes.
And you said, so that I can improvise, I sort of asked this of everybody, and it's over, it's kind of obvious, but it's like that's a lot of work. What do you get out of it that drove you to put in that work to sort of like build this and create it? And
I just loved it so much. Like coming out here and doing UCB was just like, oh, this is my thing. I get this, and it's a lot of like-minded people. So it was just really, that's the motivating factor. And as a creative outlet, it's very satisfying. Like I used to do a lot of music. I still do some side projects for music.
An LA song.
Yeah, you were in the music video.
I was in the music video.
Look that up. Big Telephone, California. To see a lot of other UCB people in it. Will Hines is in it. Julie Brister.
That's right.
So yeah, that, and if I'm not doing as much improv for whatever reason, I'll spend more time doing music. But improv just really fills me up creatively, and is just very, very fun. So it's like, if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't put in all the work into it, because it's, you'll know this, it's so much admin to run stuff. I don't know if you've got any admin tips. Or
no, I was hoping you did. That's I didn't yes and you. But the admin part of it is so challenging, and I have started and restarted with like trying to delegate and accept support when it's offered and things like that. And it took a lot of starts and stops. And I finally have someone who is helping Tori with kind of some of that admin stuff. And we found a good working relationship. I think part of it had to be, I was at a place where I didn't really have a choice anymore. I needed somebody to help me with stuff. And in the past, it was like, I was so precious about it and held it so tightly, and trying to delegate and then being like, it's not really working. I'll just do it. Or my system is so scatterbrained and only works for me. And it's now gotten to the thing where it was like, I didn't have a choice, and she's so talented at it and sort of approached me. And that's been helpful, is like, and like Wednesday night, we're recording this on a Thursday, but Wednesday night there's a show and I no longer come. Like, they host, they take care of it. My partner like texted afterwards and was like, it was great. It was like so fun, and the energy was awesome, and they're just doing a great job. And being able to do that is really hard. And it's like, yeah, I have a ton of emails to send today, like, and spreadsheets, and people being like, this is on the same date, and being like, oh my God. Like, thankfully, the community that we work with, like, that attracts improvisers, are people who I think are very forgiving of, oops, I double book this, or, oh, we got to squeeze in another team. Like, that has allowed me to grow under continuous sort of like hiccups and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can relate heavily to that. That's kind of exactly where I'm at with it. And John McInnes is helping run the admin side of it now. So, but it's mostly just me and him doing it. But yeah, it is just trying to like delegate more, and people like to be asked, and people like to have to be given like jobs and things. So it's just trying to like delegate those more, because otherwise it just doesn't scale, right? Like that's kind of like a tech thing and startups of like, if you have like a little business, the analogy I've used before is like an ice cream salesman.
Yeah.
Like you can be like one ice cream salesman, but how are you going to serve like millions of people?
Yeah.
You need to, franchise it, or like get other ice cream salesmen, teach them how to serve ice cream. And
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm also,
you want ice cream?
Yeah. We're gonna end this early, so I can go get ice cream. That's the rule of this podcast. If the guest brings up ice cream, it's over. The growing of it is like, I think, that was part of the issue before the pandemic, is like, it was growing so fast. Like, it was scale. Like, I remember we would have UCB house theater meetings, and they'd be like, there's talk about UCB London and UCB Austin. And it's like, wow. And then within like 6 months, it was like, New York lost their space. We have to sell Sunset. Like, and ice cream specifically, there was an ice cream place in New York called Ample Hills, and it moved to Los Angeles, or they franchised out to Los Angeles. And they had an exclusive deal at Disneyland, and they were Oprah's ice cream pick or whatever. And within a year, they went bankrupt. And I read an article about it, and it was sold to a guy who like made his fortune cutting steel with lasers or something, and he was like, yeah, I'll buy an ice cream company, and bought it for like pennies on the dollar. And I would be interested, because you're trying to scale and stuff like that, but you also are looking for teachers, and you have to get teachers who are effective. And I'm sure, I don't know, but my experience has been, I've had people who are like, I'm ready to teach, or I want to do this. And it's like, I can't just give this to everybody who wants to do it. A, because it's mine and I'm very protective over it. But B, the quality of it is what I pride myself on. And if I can't keep an eye on that stuff, and I don't have people that I can trust to keep an eye on that stuff, I think we run into that thing where it's like you dilute what you're doing. Do you have a sense of like, has there been, what does growth look like? And have you had to tamp it down? Have you had to sort of like encourage people more? Like,
I think there's like a few things going off what you said. Like, I think that's my worry as well, of like, oh, stuff will be diluted, or the quality won't be as good as if I'm not there. And right now I'm at like pretty much every show. We have one house team that are self-sufficient in running the night, but it, again, that how that feels as a burden, like to have to be there.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've handed over that Thursday and it's still running, that's just a reminder of like, okay, it feels as if I have to be here, but that's just because I've not handed over control yet. So I think it is just continuing to try and delegate and trust more. Our current house team people, we're trying to give them more teaching opportunities, and we just said, anyone just like fill out this form who wants to do it. But we can't give it to everyone, and a lot of them do want to teach courses right now. we're not able to do that, but we just have to start the pipeline through, start like giving them drop-ins and trying to give them more teaching experience. Some of them have teaching experiences in other fields like you had as well, which I think is beneficial. So maybe they'll take to it a bit quicker. So that's stuff we're dealing with. The other thing that this is making me think of is I'm trying to focus maybe in the next year or so on trying to improve attendance, because if you'll remember, I feel like when you came to Glasgow, we were in a good spot where we were getting like, do they call them punters here, or is that a UK thing?
I think it might be a UK
thing.
Okay,
punters is like just like regular punters, like not improvisers, just like man off the street.
I love that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, punters. And which is good, right? It's good when you do shows and it's like people who are coming to see a show and they're not improvisers. So we started off that way with Harold Night, and then the more shows we did, the more students we taught, it slowly converted to being like a lot of students at shows, which is cool, but that's not great. There's downsides to that. So I'm trying to like focus more on like, how can I get the punters back in?
Yeah.
And one, I read like I didn't read the whole study. I saw like a Reddit post about a study and read some comments about it. But the study was, they've actually done research into ticketing and like who attends shows. And I think this was done in like big cities like LA and New York. And it was mostly looking at big theater shows. But the interesting thing from the study was your audience for those shows are people that are going once a year.
Yeah.
And that's making up that's how they're making all their money, going back to the economics of it. People seeing one show a year. And that really blew my mind. And I've just been sort of gestating on that of like, okay, how do you reach those people that just come once a year?
Yeah. That's fascinating. I didn't know it was that extreme, but I do know that like if we had walk-ins, I guess a couple Wednesdays ago that somebody told me about, that they were like, they found it on Google and they were in town for the week.
Yeah.
And it was like, great, good reviews, free show, come check it out. They had a blast, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe they come back next year, maybe they visit next year, maybe they tell their friends, oh, you're going to LA, check this out. But it's like, that's kind of the big thing, right? Like,
yeah, getting those tourists, like we get those as well. It's more of an Edinburgh comedy club thing where they just rely on tourists, but it is just simple things like getting listed on Google Maps, getting good reviews, getting on TripAdvisor, and then people when they're in town will be like, oh yeah, okay, there's UCB, but there's also like We Improv and we're right next to that, so maybe we just check that out.
Yeah, that's such a tricky part of it. I have you're catching me at a time where I'm trying to expand my scope of like, I was so focused on like improv for improvisers, not doing improv for improvisers, but like everything I created initially was to meet the needs of what I wanted when I was a student, right? Of like, I want to be up more. I want to be playing more. I don't want a class that's so big that I don't get stage time. Like, that was all part of the thing. And now I'm like, oh, how do I shift this to like, I'm somebody who just wants to take a class or see a show. Like, I'm not looking to go get on a track that leads me to a house team. Maybe I make a practice group up. Maybe I join one, things like that. Hopefully they do. But also, oh, I'm a computer programmer or a journalist, and like, I want to take this the way my friends are taking like a cabinet making class or something like that. And it's like, when those people are taking my classes, they always bring a ton of people, because it's like, hey, I'm taking this class, and their friends come to check it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the people who take my classes consistently, they have burned those they have burned those relationships.
Another show? Okay.
The last one was not exceptional. It's like, this one might be better. I can't make a promise, right? So I think like that's that's a big thing for me. And what I would be curious to know for you is like that came out of me. I'm struggling with treating the improv scene more like how I treat improv scenes, which is I can't control them. I can't control the direction it's going. I don't know what's going to happen. I can just make my choices and be supportive. But the larger improv scene, I have been trying to be like, I want it to feel this way. I want students to feel this way. I want players to feel this way. I want it to look like this. But I'm one entity in a giant city that has a dozen. Do you have, is the community growing in ways in which you didn't anticipate? And are there things that you're like, I'd love to see this, or, oh, this is like starting to happen and that is maybe not within my vision? Like you're Austin really as a counterexample. When I spoke to people from Austin, they were like, there's 4 theaters and we all kind of like dip in and out and share. And it felt so much more collective. And I was like, Los Angeles has this sort of thing that's like, where are you going to take your classes? What school are you going to? Like, how does this school compare to that school? And we are Wednesday night, there are 4 or 5 improv shows, and they're all attended by the same, like not the same people, but the same amount of people. It's like we're all doing a show on the same night, and 15 people are coming to each show or something. And it's like, oh, I have to let go of what everybody else is doing and do the thing that I want to do. And but you're in an environment where it's like you are sort of like, here's what we're doing. I don't know if there's a question.
Yeah, I think it's reminding me of that TV show Alone, where these survivalists go into to nature, and the ones that win are the ones that don't try and fight nature but just go along with it, because you realize you can't control the weather, you can't control the environment. So I think it's healthy, because you go insane trying to like run a theater and have control over like the weather, for instance. Like
truly.
So the more you realize like, oh, I can only control the stuff that's within my control, that's you go less insane. But also it's like, yeah, we have a lot of similarities in terms of like we're both running things, but we are both running things in very different environments.
Yeah.
So we're put on different parts of the Alone Island.
Yeah.
So you've got lots of salmon, but you're in this big LA scene, so improv for improvisers probably fulfills something that this scene needs. Whereas if I did that in Glasgow, that's maybe not as that's probably still a sustainable model actually, but it feels weird to not try and like point towards the wider public coming in and focus on that. But we're at an interesting time now where, yeah, for a long time we were the only show in town, but there's like some of our house teams have went off and started their own indie nights, so like people are trying to run their own indie stuff now, which is it's interesting to see. I'm interested to see what sort of happens with that. But yeah, again, just realizing like, well, I can't control what these other indie shows can do. All I can do is like focus on what we're doing, and like stuff that we've been trying recently that was really fun this year. Again, my whole thing is just ripping off what I see at UCB when I'm visiting here.
Yeah.
But a Gravid Water type show did that, and that was really fun and successful. And just doing like a sort of ASCAT show at another space. So yeah, that's what's going on.
So that gives me a couple of thoughts, and one is like, I think as I've been doing this and interviewing people, I've realized like I am sort of, and we talked about this, I don't think it was when we started, but I am trying to cross-pollinate a little bit of like, I think with podcasting, with live streaming shows, with all this access, it's like LA, New York, and Chicago don't need to be the hubs. They don't need to be this is how it's done anymore. Because it's like you can listen to a podcast or you can live stream a show and then people do it their own way. And so I've been using this to sort of go like, there's a school down the street. There's schools all over that are like improv for improvisers. And it's like, I am looking more towards a model that is like, Los Angeles has 200 million people. I don't know if that's right or not. No, there's no way. 4 million people, 200 million in the United States. That's embarrassing, but I don't know editing software to take it out. But it's like 4 million people. That's enough of people who just want to like have a place to play without it being the thing, right? Like your model. And that's so important to me. And then the other thing is, are you excited when you see those other things pop up? Are you a little nervous? Is it a combination of that?
I think it's just interesting to me, and yeah, I'm just trying to let go of that control freak nature of like, oh, I wish this would just be done at the get, and we should all just build the same thing together, and why wouldn't you want to be a part of this thing? But like, we are still all part of the same scene, and it's that whole like rising tide lifts all ships mentality.
I just was talking to somebody about that. Yeah.
So, and again, I can't, and I'm not capable of being in charge of everything.
Yeah.
So again, that's part of like letting go. And even though I'm not delegating stuff to them, people starting their own thing probably is still good.
Yeah. That's great. I got to steal a little of that. The last thing I want to ask you is there anything that's holding, I've been asking everybody, like, is there anything that's holding your attention right now? Maybe it's like a specific thing about improv or a form or a style or like, for example, mine has been voice of reason stuff. I've been on a real kind of like, your job as the voice of reason is to pitch. That's you throw the ball, and the person who's unusual will take swings at the things they want to take swings with. But you don't need to roll a watermelon down there or throw a beach ball or do anything that you think is going to get them to swing. You come out, and whatever your job is, you do your job. And you don't have to have a problem with the way they're taking swings. My example is like, if they kiss the bat, you could go like, weird you kiss the bat. But that doesn't stop you from pitching the ball. But if you throw the ball and it breaks their bat and they charge the mound, now you can react because you can't do your job anymore. Like, and that's something that I've been thinking about lately. Is there anything that has holding your attention of like, oh, I've been thinking about improv this way or doing this more or anything like that?
Yeah, I think for my own performing, the thing that I keep coming back to, and this is going to sound like such a stupid answer, but like bear with me.
Yeah.
It really does just keep coming back to yes and.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that sounds so stupid. If like I can imagine someone listening to this and being like, right, he's bringing back yes and. But I have noticed in shows of like what is working very well, and like when does it feel like I'm like shutting down a scene or is stopping being successful. Yeah, and it's like that sort of like bat swinging scene. Like there's ways of responding and, you know, being truthful, etc., all the stuff we're taught, where okay, that's fine and we can still have a successful scene. But if I also like add a little bit of information, point out something about the other character, just labeling again, it all just keeps coming back to the basics of like, it essentially breaks down to who, what, where stuff.
Yeah.
But if you keep every line you have, if you keep adding an extra thing, don't just have a line where you're just like, oh, you dropped the ball. Like add a little like line of you dropped the ball and that's why we lost the playoff game last series or whatever. Like I've just found that any little specific I add will often like add some more humor to the scene. And yes and is my answer.
I love that.
Ever heard of it? Yes and.
I'm going to write it down. I look it up when I get out of here. I love that. It's such a I've been doing a lot of like foundational workshops and they have been so fun and exciting for me because I feel like I'm in a place where I can give them the structure for them to be successful. And at that level, if you haven't seen a lot of improv, you aren't making choices based off what you've seen work. You are yes-anding, and you're bringing your total truth to the scene. So the other day, a workshop, it was like somebody was like, "This is your driving test. You have to put on these beer goggles," and the person was like, "Beer goggles," and they're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Okay," and then they got in the car and drove, and it was like total chaos. And they were like, "Should I have pushed back on that more?" And I was like, not if it meant us not getting in the car and driving. Like, I have seen the improv scene that's like, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. And it's like, you always do this. You always insist on putting on the beer goggles. You did it last week when we did this. And then it's like, and I'm going to do it later. And it's like, and I don't get to see any of it. And the version that somebody was like, yeah, I'll put those on. And then they got in the car and it was like they were in mud and quicksand and they were going all over the place. And I was like, yeah, that's more surprise than it is inevitability. I want to see some pattern to it. But given the choice, it's like, I love that you yes-anded that idea. And like so many of these early workshops that I've been watching, it's like they're doing shit. They are like, and talking to other people, you know, when they talk about Los Angeles improv, something that comes up is like, it's a lot of standing around. And it's like that comes from training, because people are nervous when they start, but they're also like trying to exist in the environment and they don't know how else to do it. So they're making weird choices. I had somebody play a parking curb the other day and that was like talking. And I was like, this is so fucking fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please don't lose that. Like, and that's like yes-anding it. It is like, I think the more you do it, you sometimes get caught in the like not seeing the forest for the trees or whatever. And it's like, add information.
Yeah. And I think some of it is like fear of making choices and fear of adding information, especially the responder rather than the initiator. Is like, well, this is the initiator scene. I can't label that he's the manager in this office. It's like, no, make those choices. And even if that's, he wasn't picturing himself to be the manager, as long as you're not derailing that person's idea, that's gonna, then you're really improvising, right? Because that you're both in the moment now.
Yeah. I had somebody the other day go like, well, I thought this was going to happen and it didn't. So I just sort of like, kind of like made choices on the fly. And I was like, you mean improvise? And it's like,
yeah, people sometimes think it's like they're trying to like guess correctly the idea in the initiator's head, and as if you're going to get like a big gold star afterwards. It's like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not trying to mind read. Yes, it comes across that way when the scenes are good, that we have read each other's minds. But yeah, we should both be in the moment and making something that exists between the both of us. Yeah.
That's so well said. Anything you want to plug or promote? Any of your music, or if people are in Glasgow or anything?
Yeah, I'll plug my music.
Yeah,
check out that Big Telephone California song on YouTube to see improvisers from UCB in LA. But yeah, check out the Glasgow Improv Theatre. We've got shows on. We teach classes there. If you're ever in town, just Google the Glasgow Improv Theatre.
I can't say enough wonderful things about that community. When Josh and I took the tour, it was like, it really was like yes-anding. It was such a like acceptance of an offer and adding, and we had such a great time. And I think what you all are, I think what's happening in Glasgow is so cool. And yeah, I am aspiring to do as much as like you were like, oh, I came out here and took some ideas from UCB and tried to implant it. It's like, I am trying to do the same with mine of like, what are you doing that isn't being done out in Los Angeles? Like, how do we yes-and each other across the pond and everywhere else? So thanks for taking the time to do this. And,
yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, you'll need to come back and see our new space, because we're in a different space.
Oh my God, great.
So
is it
much better?
Much better.
Yeah, much better.
Is it still a pub?
So the one that you saw was Blackfriars, which is a kind of like old man's pub. They're they're fine and they were good to us. They're under new management now, and they still do good comedy nights, but it is an old man's pub, so you'll get like old men coming down to the basement and be like, you're going to make me laugh, are you?
Yeah.
Whereas this is like a hipster bar down a lane, down an alleyway, and but it's like really nice inside.
I love that.
Nice
What's
space.
it called?
It's the Old Hairdressers.
The Old Hairdressers.
It used to be a hairdresser's.
Well, that would be weird if it wasn't. Well, then I'll come check it out. Martin, thanks again. This has been awesome.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks.
Hey, we're going to take a little pause to hear a word from our sponsor, me. Are you in Los Angeles? Do you want to be a part of We? Do you want to help out We? Does it feel insane to pay upwards of $200, $300, $400, $500 for an improv class? Well, we would like to help. We has a membership. For $10 a month, you get 10% off any workshop. That puts most workshops under $200. And you get a monthly drop-in. So if nothing else, pay $10 and do a drop-in workshop. You can pay $20 a month, still get the 10% off, still get the drop-in, but you also get a mashup show and a T-shirt or a hat. Do you not want to be a member because you don't live in Los Angeles? You can still get a T-shirt and a hat at weimprov.org. Or if you're in Los Angeles and you want to sign up as an improv team, you can perform regularly at We for a monthly fee. And we have tiered pricing on all our workshops. So hopefully that makes it a little bit more accessible because it's fucking expensive in Los Angeles. And improv is great and it should be accessible to everybody. And I'm trying to make that happen. So if you want to support We, memberships are the best way to do it. The way to give the theater money and get something in return, like an exchange for goods and services. And check out a class, check out a show. All our shows are free and they're great. I know that I'm biased and I'm making this podcast, but I'm putting teams that perform at the shows on this podcast because I know if you hear them, you're going to go like, that's got to be even better in person, which is hard to imagine because that was the best time I've had inside my ear. It will be better in person, which I know is hard to believe. Okay, back to the show.
Please, everyone gather round.
We're here with STEM Kidz, Los Angeles-based improv team. Do you want to go around and introduce yourselves?
Sure thing. Hi, I'm Sean Smith.
Who is this?
There we go. Closer to the mic. I'm Sean Smith.
Great.
Are we all talking like that?
Hi, I'm Katie O'Hearn.
Perfect. Howdy. This is the Laura Beidel Sheet.
Hey everyone, I'm Jeff, and I'm the hungry one.
Yikes. Jeez.
Katie Nathan.
Great.
Sean Catulio.
Coming at you across radio waves, this is Jack to Sam.
Good.
Back to that.
Fiona Gronenthal.
Great.
What's your maiden name for all the STEM heads?
Formerly Ni Marulo.
Now they know.
Nice.
Because it's an audio medium, we just want to describe that Sean is holding the microphone.
Failing at moving the microphone.
And
Okay.
there's some clips on the side.
Difficulty
There we go.
Sean is having.
Yeah, cut to Sean with a working mic, please.
Perfect. So how long
guys.
have you all been a team?
Christ.
What was it, 2021?
Yeah. Coming up on about 3 years.
Good year.
Good year. Yeah.
Good year.
We all met in one of your workshops.
That's right.
A full workshop right here.
I like to think of it as like the people who are so desperate to do improv when things open back up after COVID. Because I was like, an in-person class? Okay.
The moment I was vaccinated.
Yeah.
You guys have gotten vaccinated?
And I've been asking teams, what do you like to do outside of improv together?
Oh, so much.
Wine painting.
One of our goals is to go to a baseball game.
We can't get seats together.
It's a huge goal for us.
Some of our favorite activities were going to the Neon Museum.
Great.
Oh yeah, the Neon Museum was good. Wine paint and sip.
We like to frequent Glendale diners.
What's that?
Yes.
Talleyrand or
Talleyrand. The Talleyrand.
Oh, Talleyrand. I've been there. I like that before a movie.
I'm saying
Yeah.
Tel Aviv.
We also like restaurants that aren't very good.
Yes.
Like we've been to Buca di Beppo together. I think Outback Steakhouse we got DoorDashed
right.
to a party.
Is that when we were
And
out
in
in the movie
Nashville, we
marathon?
went to.
Oh,
the
we
Worcester.
should mention Tourco.
Oh,
we
yeah.
like to tour together.
We love to
We love
travel.
to travel.
Feel free to book us. So we'll go wherever.
We will actually go wherever.
That's excellent.
If anyone in Orange County or Nashville is listening,
Hey.
Good to see you.
Thank you,
Remember
former
us,
winners
obviously,
of the OC Improv Festival.
Oh, they handed out trophies?
Well, we
They basically did.
Trophy vibe.
It was like a paper plate award
Feel
thing
it.
that
Yeah.
we did by
The
ourselves.
vibes were right.
Oh, okay.
We won the night.
Oh, also,
it was
let's-
so obvious.
Yeah, we really did. But
Yeah.
let's not forget our famous photo shoot. We also
yeah.
kind of are amateur models,
yeah.
I would say.
Oh, okay.
And Jake, you were part of that.
That's right. I was I was the coach. You invited me. That was very nice.
You look really happy to be there.
so mad at us.
Also, can I say your voice right now sounds so happy? I've been talking about it.
Who's the most traveled? Like, who has the most experience?
What are we talking about?
Traveling.
Traveling.
Jeff,
Literally
right?
Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah, I'd say Jeff.
I would think Jeff.
maybe, but I don't know. I haven't been anywhere.
How many countries have you been to?
I've been to Tanzania.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Never
Is
been.
that supposed
You
to
guys have
trump
both
it?
been to Tanzania?
Yeah.
At the same time.
We were doing improv.
The way that I just got so jealous, I like viscerally felt that in my body. I was like, wait, they went without me.
We went up north and did the Nairobi circuit.
Actually, I went on Sean and
That would be
Marissa's
so
honeymoon to Japan. We
Yeah.
were all there at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like we're a pretty well-traveled bunch.
No,
Recently,
not
I
me.
was in Cusco, the former Mayan capital.
Made famous in
No, it's
Emperor's
the
New
Emperor's
Groove.
Groove.
This isn't a history podcast.
Or no, it's the Inca capital. I didn't retain a lot of information. I almost died. I got HAPE. I got high
Altitude.
altitude pulmonary edema.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
I had to evacuate to a lower elevation.
I didn't know this.
Now, how much of the
That's very
site is
scary.
dedicated to the film The Emperor's New Groove?
I would say almost 0% of it.
Oh,
It's actually a very
almost, though.
sacred place. A lot of the residents there still practice like the old religions and work very like.
llamas and
There are llamas there. That's the most touristy thing. to say.
Not a placard, no.
no
stand
John
up.
Goodman statue.
Yeah.
They
or
didn't,
David
do they didn't do a land recognition for the Emperor's New Groove.
I think David Spade has a
Edit this
residence.
out.
there.
Edit this out.
Wait, Jeff, what was it called that you got?
This is HAPE. So this is high altitude pulmonary edema. It's a very advanced form of altitude sickness that can basically fill your lungs with fluid, put you in a coma.
Okay, because I was going to make a funky Cole Medina joke, but now I feel like that would be inappropriate.
Is edema? Is that an E?
Yeah,
HAPE.
Anytime you have fluid in your lungs, it's a pulmonary edema. It can be from different causes.
Wow. STEM Kidz.
We're a fun team.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
STEM Kids.
That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, that
I
was
believe we did a scene where it was kind of like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids-esque thing where we were all small and things were big.
Oh yeah.
We were
Maybe
riding
it
on
turned
bees.
into
I remember that.
Yeah,
Forgot
we
about
had a
that.
babysitter, and I believe Sean labeled we're STEM Kids. We're like
Yeah.
Do you want to know what the name was almost?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Continental
Continental
Brunch.
I came up with that one. Nobody wanted it.
I wanted it really badly. I did not
really
want STEM
wanted it.
Kids. I did not want STEM
And
Kids.
you're
Well, that's a good way to start our set.
You're still holding that grudge.
We're all still
We're all
upset 3 years
fucking
later.
pissed.
If we had
Google
been
form.
Continental Brunch,
Someone's
what
gonna
would our
take it.
Eureka show be called in the brunch
Oh,
buffet?
wow.
Buffet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buffet.
The buffet.
Yeah.
Side of bacon.
easier.
Yeah. It could be
No,
our
I love our
alternate
science
ego.
theme.
Yeah.
Kind of like how there's Chris
Our
Gaines.
party vibes is
It took us a
kind of.
while to find Eureka. We really felt like Archimedes.
Well, Lur. That's Lur. Lur.
We polled each other for weeks, and then Lur was like, actually, I found it, Eureka. We're like, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
we
no
even
more polls.
voted, and I was like, no, we're not doing that.
It was right after we voted. Like, you really came in and you were like, I know the votes are
Yeah.
I
counted
wish
and
I
we've
had been that
already
strong for
elected a
Continental
show, but what if it was
know.
He came in
Eureka?
bashful.
It's
He was like, hey, I'm sorry about this, but I found gold.
Yeah,
was
he did.
perfect.
He
It
did.
was a flash of genius. Lur knows how the guy that invented windshield wipers.
What's the story there? I don't know that.
I believe that the movie they made about him was called A Flash of Genius, and it's about the guy that invents the windshield.
Greg
wiper.
Kinnear?
Yeah, Greg Kinnear invented
Yeah.
the windshield wiper.
That is so boring.
No, that was Oscar bait. for
Wasn't
sure.
it the into like that it goes on a delay? What's that called?
Oh.
I thought that was
A
the
timer?
Yeah, like that it could do. Because I thought they had just like on or off, and he developed the like
speeds.
Oh, specifically,
Yeah.
that's what. Okay.
That's
I
even
think-
He
more
didn't even
boring.
invent the windshield wiper. He just
invented
it.
the speed.
I think so.
This is a
That's
movie.
such a lame name for the
Yeah.
movie. I mean, like, there's no like windshield pun. There's no like wipe for glory.
Oh,
or something.
White for glory.
Does
it sound like a windshield?
Like unfrosted.
Yeah. Need for windshield wiper speed.
Defrosted.
Did he have like other
defrosted.
things going on in his life that made this like a cinematic? Like, was his
Yeah, what
family
about this is
like?
cinematic?
Yeah, it was like a Forrest Gump sort of scenario.
The invention was stolen from him by the automobile industry.
Oh, so it's like the social
The
network.
whole industry. Okay.
Social
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
How is that like
Because-
the Winklevoss
it's like the
twins?
social
Because
network.
Andrew Garfield and the Winklevoss twins invented Facebook, and then Mark Zuckerberg invented it too.
Right.
Yeah, you're famously a Winklevoss sympathizer.
Hey.
Hey.
So I've been waiting until our daughter left for college to bring this up.
Oh, okay.
I really wanted Diane to be the name. And I just feel like when we were naming her, you railroaded me. And we had to name her
Railroaded
Lindsay.
you? My body had just been railroaded. I had just given birth.
Oh, great. So we're going to pull that card again.
Yes.
I gave birth, so I picked the name.
I didn't pick the name. It was on the short list.
Well, let's just think about how it turned out. Diana, a famously martyred, beautiful woman. Lindsay, what is Lindsay? Who's Lindsay?
Lindsay is our beautiful daughter who is going off to Dartmouth today.
Oh, hey, Mom, Dad.
Oh, hey.
Hey, honey.
Oh, I thought you already left for college.
Oh, no. You haven't driven me there in the station wagon.
Oh, yeah.
You drop me off at the door, Dad. At Dartmouth.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
So proud of you, honey.
Oh, thanks. I've been at the pool all day.
That's great. Why don't you go toss your bags in the car?
Yeah, honey, go ahead and load your bags in the wagon.
Okay, yeah. Might need some help. Got a lot of books.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll help you. We'll help you with those. Just load up the other
Yeah,
ones.
your dad and I have something we want to finish talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, last one to the cars are fine.
Okay.
She is beautiful
Yeah, I don't
and smart. She's already bought her books.
deny that. I'm just saying maybe she'd, be going to Harvard if she was a Diana.
Hey, Mom, Dad, are we ready to go on the trip yet? It's me, Nardo.
Nardo, just go get in the car.
Okay.
We'll be right
I want
out.
to bring my dinosaur toys.
Yeah, you can bring your dinosaur.
You can
toys.
absolutely do that.
Okay. I love you guys.
We love you, babe. And I wanted Scott.
Okay, Nardo's perfect.
Jurassic Park. It's kind of a lame name for a movie, don't you think?
I mean, it kind of encapsulates what it's about. Do you have we're bringing back dinosaurs from the Jurassic period, and it's a park, so it hits two categories.
I guess so, but like, I mean, where's the wordplay? Like unfrosted? That's a movie title. It's about Pop-Tarts, but it's also about like uncovering the scandal. So the Pop-Tarts are unfrosted. It's amazing.
Okay, well, this movie is based on a book by Michael Crichton, so I don't know. Do you want us to rename it a re-release of Jurassic Park? It's an iconic film.
Mr. Spielberg, I hate to interrupt you now, but the panel begins in 5 minutes. Just grab it for you, but we're going to 5 minutes.
All right, thank you.
It's just that, I don't know, Jurassic Park, I mean, if the movie's any success, Mr. Spielberg, like, it could spawn multiple movies, and are those gonna just be more plays on Jurassic? I don't get it.
For the record, Fiona is Laura Dern. Just a concerned cast member.
Laura, every time we have one of these panels, you always come up and say, we gotta name it something else. We've had the same conversation for 25 years.
It's just that this could really be a huge thing for me, okay? And my parents, they're members of Hollywood, and they have been in movies with far better titles than
Cut
this.
to the panel.
Well, okay, everyone, thank you so much for being here. That was a lovely, rousing applause. We are just getting, welcome everyone. Welcome Steven Spielberg. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and then we've got Laura Dern here.
Yeah.
big Dern heads in the crowd today. And then
I don't really like Dern heads. Could you call my fans something else? It's not really a play on anything.
Dern or play on something. Dern Patrol.
Yeah, like Swifties. That's a real fan group. Name a fan group.
Okay, is there something you want me to call everyone? Guess not. All right, we're just gonna move right along. Yeah, I'm seeing a question with the crowd.
Yeah, I have a question for the filmmaker, Mr. Spielberg.
Yeah. Yep, of course.
I first of all, I thought the movie was pretty great, but I was really surprised that not a ton of it took place in a parking lot. And when I got the ticket, I could have sworn that there was going to be more about parking vehicles.
Okay.
I see the guy in the audience.
Hey, baby. I thought you did great, by the way.
I'm giving him a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Bruce, sit down. I'm so sick of this. We all have been over this 100,000 times. Park refers to an amusement park, and I didn't even come up with the title. It's Michael Crichton. I just took a popular book and made it a movie.
Cut to Laura and Bruce Dern in Michael Crichton's office.
I mean, really, when you think about it, there's no amusement parks called blank park. I mean, Disneyland is Disneyland. It's not Disney Park.
No, I hear that. No, yeah. That's
so it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think this is going well.
Okay, so you're saying that I should either not call it Jurassic Park or set it in a parking lot.
Correct.
We see that Michael Crichton is a robot.
Well, excuse me, Laura, would you mind pouring some more brain fluid into my jar?
I was in the White Lotus. I'm not going to pour brain fluid into your jar, okay?
Sweetheart, he really needs that brain fluid.
That brain fluid.
He just has a jar sitting on top of his head.
Fine. I'll do it.
Really drying out.
But just like I told Noah Baumbach on the set of Marriage Story, this is the last time I do something like this.
Hey, Michael, real quick, I know we're really stuck on this whole Jurassic Park thing, but can we talk about Congo for a second?
Let's talk about Hondo.
Congo. I want to talk about your book.
He needs his brain fluid. I'm sorry. Mr. Clayton, I'm sorry. I was late picking up your lunch. Here.
I need more Hondo.
Okay, here you go.
Oh, yes, thank you so much for that.
His brain fluid just looks like an order of pho.
Yes, a little too spicy. Would you mind adding a little more lime juice? Now, what were you saying about the Congo?
Yeah. Your book Congo, it just really, really confused me as well. I could have sworn there were going to be drums. There were no drums.
I swear I included drums.
No, not that I read the book twice and I didn't see a
I barely read it. Frankly, I don't know anything about Congo.
We cut to an episode of Hot Ones. Yeah, so a lot of people are really confused by your novel, The Hot Zone. There's barely any mention of spicy wings. How did you deal with the backlash?
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, can we get some brain fluid over here?
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yes, well, I really chose to. Of course, the obvious path was to include spicy wings.
Daltil pepper sauce.
Oh, yes. Well, you can just kind of smash it against the glass of my brain jar.
It looks like I'm looking for a roommate. You seem like a great guy.
Yeah. Glad you noticed.
Yeah. I did. I looked up your Instagram a little bit.
Yeah.
And I noticed you have a twin.
I don't want to talk about him.
Okay.
Why don't you ever want to talk about me?
I said to stay in the car.
All right. Sorry.
Do you guys row crew?
Yeah, of course we do.
You're big.
Yeah, we are big. Could you stop being so embarrassed of me?
He's bigger than me. All right. Is that?
It's hard to tell. You guys look.
I can tell. Look,
I was born first, so I have 2 millimeters on him.
This is great. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Look, if you want to live in the place, you got to bring your twin. It's kind of a.
Yes.
I'm looking to set up a Winklevoss situation.
We see it's a studio
So what? Like, I'm gonna sleep on top of my twin.
I don't. Is that how the Winklevosses did it? I don't know. You guys sleep however you want to sleep, but I need a couple of big twins.
Jake, are these the Winklevoss candidates?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I'm going to be playing Mark Zuckerberg. We're going to have a bit of a rivalry.
Oh, you're doing a whole production here.
Yeah,
In the
we're
studio
trying to
apartment?
create whatever the next Facebook will be. So
And
what
you
I'm
think
doing
it'd be-
is,
Good.
yeah, you've caught
You're
up.
on it.
If you recreate the situations of the social network,
Yeah.
you're guaranteed.
Yeah, and this guy has been getting dumped left and right.
Oh, yeah. I'm a loser, and I'm mean about it. I've been setting up a way of rating women in the neighborhood, and hopefully, something's gonna spark.
Just the neighborhood, huh?
And I'm somewhat popular, but a little dumber than this guy.
That's
So,
right.
Here's the thing: if we're gonna move in and sleep on top of each other, I want to know that I'm not gonna be
We didn't
screwed
say
out
you
of
had
our
to sleep on top of each
Jake,
other.
can I talk to you for a second to the
Yes,
side
of
here?
course. Yeah,
I don't remember them sleeping on top of each other.
I don't either. Here, let's draw it on the window. Okay, so here's one twin, and then we put
a
another
second.
twin on top of.
Wait a second, you're hitting something here.
Twin toppers? Is that
Twin toppers. Is that a thing?
We cut to a fancy sushi restaurant with a guy in curly hair and a suit jacket and just a t-shirt talking to Jake and Mark. You just call it toppers.
We just call it toppers?
Yeah, just toppers. Much cleaner.
Jake, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, sure thing.
So is this guy's like Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah, Justin Timberlake playing
I don't remember.
Sean
Sean
Parker,
Okay.
the guy who invented Napster. This guy,
Because he doesn't look like Justin Timberlake.
I know. Well,
I look a lot like Mark Zuckerberg.
Hey, you were a diamond in the rough. You're one in a million.
I just feel like we're really messing with the formula
The
here.
Winklevoss twins come up behind them.
Oh, the actual?
No, sorry, the twin toppers.
Oh,
Twins.
I'll go first.
Fine, go.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Fine, go.
I can fit in the booth. Can you fit in the booth?
No, I'm too big.
All right, I'm gonna be sitting on top of them.
Yeah, this is really a problem. They're always on top of each other.
We get a couple chairs over here.
Yes, so sorry. Thank you so much.
And sake bombs for the table.
Yeah, right away, sir. And can I just say really quick, I was overhearing about twin toppers, and it sounds like $1 million idea.
I'm mean to women, so get out of here.
That doesn't sound very cool to me at all. You know what sounds cool to me?
Cut to Sean Parker and the waitress after they slept together.
I never do stuff like this.
Oh, it's okay. I do stuff like this all the time. It's really no big deal. Hey, do you have any more? There's got to be some in there somewhere. Oh my god!
Stop going through all my drawers. I've got private things in there.
What is this? A gun? What do you need this for?
It's historical. It's for my Civil War reenactment.
We cut to the waitress at the White House.
It's historical. This gun is historical. Why? Don't stop. Don't
Ma'am,
arrest me.
you're being arrested.
No, give me. No.
We specifically brought you to the White House so that we could arrest you.
And make a national example of me.
Oh, let me look at her.
Joe, just go back to bed.
Go back to bed.
There's another one of these assassins coming after me.
Joe, it's 3 a.m. Please go to bed.
I never want to go to bed. I never sleep. I'm wide awake.
Somebody want to pour some brain juice into his jar?
Everyone gather round.
Your suggestion is
stiletto.
nice.
We see that we're inside of Nordstrom, and a very tall gentleman just exits a beautiful fitting room.
How was everything? Everything work out for you?
You tell me.
I think that jacket looks great.
Thank you.
Of course.
Wow. I didn't expect this.
Really?
Yeah.
Honey, how's that jacket look?
Oh, hi, babe. I don't know. Fine, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we both thought it looked fine.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much for helping out.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the kids are running around, so I gotta go find them. But I don't really like the plaid.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll try something else on.
Yeah, do something a little less crazy, okay?
They have bras.
God damn it! God damn it! Put that off of your head.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll try some stuff on.
Hurry up, okay?
Yeah, okay.
It's huge. I'm still in the bra.
Dad, get out of the bra.
Maybe
She's
I could.
insane. The plaid looks great on you.
Thank you. Wow.
And the cut, fantastic.
I've never had something like this happen to me before.
You've never had a dressing room attendant say that a thing looked good so that you would buy it?
No. I
Well-
think I like it.
Why don't you try on something else? Try the polo.
I'd love to. This one?
He steps out of a beautiful Kia Telluride.
That Kia looks great on you.
Wow, you think so?
I do.
Oh my goodness.
It really suits you.
Honey, what are you doing? We're looking specifically for an SUV. All right?
Yeah. We'll
Can
look
you get
for
your
this.
head in the game here? I've got kids running around this whole dealership.
You don't like the kid?
Whoa, look, a bra.
Dad, that's a tire. Get it off of your neck.
Oh, I'm so deep in this bra.
God damn it. God damn it.
All right. Yeah, I'll look at some SUVs.
She's wrong. You look so good in the Kia.
The Kia felt so good.
Oh, I could see you driving around town, stopping at lights.
Oh my God. You can see that?
Absolutely.
Is this okay that we're doing this?
Honey, do you have like a toothpick or something? Because they've been eating all the free popcorn.
I think there's like
Benjamin's got like a one wedged way deep in his gum.
there's like a bowl of them up front.
my butt.
God damn it, stop putting them in your butt.
Cut to a beautiful open house of the most classy, most beautiful house you've ever seen. And a tall man walking through the door.
I can really see you here.
Oh my. Wow.
You're such a tall man and the ceilings are so high.
You really see me.
Absolutely.
I just haven't been seen like this in such a long time.
This house is for you.
Okay, honey, this house is right out. I mean, it's got only 2 bedrooms and we've got 8 kids. So we're going to have to find somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Dad's off in the free cookies again. Stop putting them on your nipples.
I like it.
What's wrong with you, Dad?
Okay, I'll just finish up over here and then we can go to the next house.
Yeah, can you be quick about it? I don't know why you need to stay any more time here.
Yeah, sure.
Woo, jacuzzi.
Get out of there, Dad!
Let's get away. Just you and me owning a home together.
And leave your father-in-law?
He's the easiest one to leave.
Ladies brunch.
I love that you have a little theme music for our brunch.
Yeah, it's like close to the Sex and the City theme, but not quite.
But not quite.
Not quite.
We
Just
didn't
like us.
get the rights to
Just
it.
like us. We're almost Sex in the City.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
not.
almost the Samantha.
Legal disclaimer, none of these are Sex and the City characters.
I'm almost Charlotte.
Yeah. Can we talk to you a little
Harlot.
bit, almost Samantha, how you almost go all the way with every man you meet?
I love almost having sex like a man.
You're like the queen of third base.
Almost.
Hey, ladies, welcome to the restaurant. I'd love to have you here. Can I please ask you to turn your music down? It's disturbing the other patron.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak up. I can barely understand what you're saying. What is it, Brad? Is that what it says on your name tag, Brad?
My name's Brad. I'll be serving you today. I'd love to get you started with some apps. If you could just turn the music. Just turn the music. Sorry. It's just we have other patrons who are trying to do a little brunch here today, and the music's a little loud for the rest of them.
Okay, well, I'm almost the theme song. There's too many of us for this show, and I never got a character. We got almost Miranda, almost Samantha. It's like I'm just almost a theme song.
That's what happens when you show up late.
Yeah.
I'm almost pretty high strung about this, but I'm not. Because I'm Charlotte. Almost.
Brad, you get it. You've had a couple drinks and determined which one of you is the Friends characters or maybe the How I Met Your Mother characters, depending on your age. You get it, right?
Right?
We're almost Sex in the City.
Those references are kind of over my head. I'm 21 years old, so I don't really.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, imagine that your friend group, like what TikTokers you are, I guess. Like what, maybe, I don't know, some TikToker. Are there groups of TikTokers? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, look, can I get you guys some water? You guys seem a little drunk.
What, Brad? You will bring me something quite like a Cosmopolitan with one different ingredient.
Oh, yeah, and almost Cosmo.
Almost, Samantha, stop licking your lips and looking at Brad.
Yeah.
I almost want to fuck him.
Okay. You don't have to touch me there.
Oh my.
Now, now that Brad has exited, let's talk about something serious. What were the results of your biopsy?
It was almost breast cancer, but good news it wasn't.
Wait a minute. What does that mean?
I mean, it was a scare, but it was benign.
Almost theme song. Can I talk to you over here for a second? That didn't really feel like an appropriate time to do the almost theme song, was it?
Sorry.
We're hearing about a very serious thing.
It was almost the right time for the theme music.
Okay.
Right? Right? I'm just trying to be supportive here.
Oh my gosh, almost Carrie. Almost Mr. Big just walked in.
We cut to a Sunday dinner at an Italian family's house.
Almost Mr. Big is walking in.
Oh, Mr. Big, what are you doing here with my parents? Everybody loves me.
Okay. Anyway, so I just got off the beat, and where's my fucking dinner, all right?
You're my brother. You shouldn't talk to my wife like that.
Okay. Hey, when you're right, you're right. I'm sorry about that.
We got sausages. We got peppers.
Who's this Mr. Big character that's right over here?
I'm sorry, I walked into the wrong restaurant.
You're going to wear that while you're meeting Miranda?
Yeah, I was. What?
Do you
Yeah.
understand what it takes to work at this establishment?
I mean, I thought I did. I got hired and stuff. What's wrong with it? What's wrong?
Your little doe-eyed act is just not going to play here.
My little doe-eyed act? What are you talking about?
Look, the doe eyes, the little voice, the Bambi wear that you're wearing.
We see that we're in a meat packing facility.
This is New York. This is meatpacking. We're just next to the fashion district, but to be clear, we are packaging sausages.
Okay, you two clowns. We talked about this before. No jewelry dangling off of your ears.
We see the
You get sucked into the
Absolutely,
machinery.
Miranda.
There's no jewelry on the floor. It's a health hazard, and you could be decapitated or worse.
Jeff's wearing a blue-collar onesie that says Miranda.
Of course, Mr. Miranda. We're so sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Miranda.
Yeah, I can never stay mad at you. You're doing a great job. Come back to work, you imbeciles.
Well, he's really taken a liking to you. I don't know why.
It's not an act. This is just really my personality.
You're wearing those little white dots like you're Bambi. You've got that makeup on. I think you're wearing fake ears.
These aren't fake ears. They're real ears. They're just a little hairier than most people's.
All right, just to be clear, you are some kind of half deer, half human person.
Yeah, sort of like a Mr. Tumnus situation.
Right, working at a meatpacking facility in New York. That's what you're telling me?
All right, you two, shut down the line.
Sorry, Miss
Red
Miranda.
alert.
Sorry, Miss Miranda.
Red alert. Carl fell into the meat grinder down the line.
Would you like us to continue grinding the meat?
No, do not continue grinding the meat. We're going to try to reverse it to get salvage part of his leg.
Of course.
I'm here. It's good news because this leg is no good anyway. Just get
What
me
did
out.
I tell you about your laces, Carl? They're too long.
I like my laces long. I don't know what to tell you. Like these are.
Mr. Miranda, Carl's always been a weak link here. I should get his position.
My position as just
Carl's
meatpacker 2?
Carl's meatpacker 2.
I'm
You're
tired of
meatpacker
being
1.
meatpacker 4.
Meatpacker 4.
Cut to a fancy restaurant in LA. So yeah, we do things a little differently here. It's mostly small plates, and we do have a chef's special today. It's
nice.
Carl's upper half. Carl worked at the meatpacking district, and there was a bit of an accident.
The upper half, where does it start? Where's the start of the upper?
Good question.
Well, we recommend that you start it with the salads. It's not really main course.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. I meant when you say a person's upper half, where on the body does that start?
Yeah, is that
I would
waist
have to
up?
ask the chef.
Okay.
But I will find out for you.
Oh, I have a question if you're going to go ask the chef.
Yes, of course.
Is this a free range Carl? Like, was he able to move around before he was ground up?
I will ask the chef, but most things we have here are free range. So I do think he had a full life, and he probably had a favorite TV show. And
what was
I'd
he
like
fed?
to know. I'd like to know.
I will ask what the chef was fed, but he was from New York, so I'm guessing bacon, egg, and cheese, and maybe pizza.
Cosmopolitan. That's nice.
I will ask the chef though. I'll be right back.
Is that other table having the Carl over there?
Yes, they have. That is actually their third helping.
Wow.
They are loving it.
I can't believe you got us in here. This place is so trendy.
We should really order the Carl before it goes out.
Oh, and I just want you to make sure that you know that it all comes out when it's ready. So don't yell at me if it doesn't come out at the same time.
We are used to restaurants. We get it.
Okay, because sometimes people are.
What the hell's this dish doing on my table? It's by itself. I ordered several dishes.
I'm sorry, sir. I will be right over. I do
Don't
want to.
you look me in the eyes when I'm talking to you.
I do want to remind you that it is family style, so it does come out when it's ready, and it is small plates, and each one is $18, and it does add up to more than regular plates. But that's okay, sir.
Where's my dipping sauce?
I'll ask the chef.
Oh, excuse me, miss.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that Carl came with a dipping sauce. You didn't mention that.
Yeah, is it a choice of dipping sauce, or is one just brought automatically?
Yeah, I don't like anything with sour cream.
And I don't like anything without sour cream, so it's kind of a riddle for you to deal with.
We're kind of like an odd couple.
Carl's dipping sauce. I do want to make sure that you guys know that it does. It is made with alcohol, but the alcohol is cooked off. I just want to make sure that that's okay.
That's fine.
That's fun.
That's okay.
Well, I can't do it.
Oh,
Well,
can we get a dipping sauce without alcohol?
No, they
Let's
like
have
to serve.
4 orders of Carl, please.
Okay, 4 orders of Carl, and I do like to serve it with the dipping sauce with the alcohol.
Are they prepared kind of like lobster, where they're alive and then they're kind of cut up?
Yeah, I don't want to hear any Carl screams.
No, this accident was months ago, but he's fresh.
Well,
They flash froze.
Wait, can you explain that?
They flash froze him. It's actually fresher.
I see.
Most Carls that you get at the grocery store are flash frozen anyway.
I see.
We cut to the grocery store. Okay, so we got Eggos.
Honey, I know we have on the list that we're getting Carl sausages.
Yeah.
But what about impossible Carl sausages this time?
I just feel like
I would back to the meat packing facility.
I said reverse, you dummies!
Carl, you're impossible.
Avenge me and make a fake plant-based version of me. Oh, great! Now we got the top half in there. We were supposed to reverse. Hubba. Oh my goodness. Are you trying to give me a heart attack, Sweet Pea?
why you like it?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to buy my cardiologist a new Ferrari if you keep wearing stuff like this when I wake up in the morning.
Okay, stop. Come on.
Oh my God. My angina's acting up.
What, your angina's
Yeah,
acting up?
my angina, my heart pain.
Come on, it's just a blouse.
Yeah, okay.
Jeff is hooked up to an EKG.
Oh, baby. Yeah, you know what I like coming in here in that blouse.
Knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm just here to change your bedpan.
Okay, all right. Yeah, no, thanks for coming by. It's been a week. I get so lonely in here watching Judge Mathis all day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. I would like to come more, but I'm also having to take the kids to school, drop them off, and I full-time work.
Yeah.
But maybe I could come in after hours, nurse. Maybe there's, I don't know, do
Whatever the two of you want to do when I'm off hours, I'll turn a blind eye.
Okay.
Oh my God, this innuendo is sending me through the roof. These machines are going nuts over here.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, actually, I'm in a lot of pain, nurse. Nurse.
So strange. What? Oh my gosh! Look, it is. It's
Put the bedpan back. Put the bedpan back.
Somebody pass me a parka.
Oh,
you think parkas are just something we have handy?
I don't know. I need to cover up. I'm exposing too much skin for him.
Oh. Here's a throw blanket.
Okay.
Hey, where's my throw blanket?
We see his machine is going crazy.
You don't think I'm not used to that? Ignore the machine and keep me warm. Who took my blanket?
I'm sorry, sir. Here's your blanket.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, you look nice.
Oh my God, his heart's going off the rocket.
Yeah, I'm used to that. Don't mind me, all right? Don't mind me.
Sir, you're actively dying.
You stay looking pretty, all right?
And how? I'll take that as a compliment. This is my spouse, and it's nice to have your partner be desired.
We got to Sean having a heart attack at a public pool. Sir, can I help you, please?
Don't worry about it. I'm used to this, all right? Just keep on swimming. By the way, you look nice.
Sir, I'm supposed to provide cardiac assistance to anybody. I'm trained in CPR.
Sean's heart is pulsing out of his chest.
I know that looks very cartoon-like, but believe me, that's real and it's fine.
I really think you should let somebody take a look at that.
Yeah, you can look all you want.
Okay, I can.
You look like a model.
Sir.
Hey, I got the call. I was the closest responder. We showed up as soon as possible. Is this the patient right here?
Yeah, this is him.
Oh my God.
I'm fine.
No, sir. Can somebody get him on Can you help me get him onto a gurney? Let's take him to the truck.
We see his eyes, nose, and ears are bleeding.
Sir, who took my throw blanket?
So, hey, buddy, what's your name? You're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
do you know who the president is?
Not my president.
Okay.
We'll call it.
Everybody was so worried about that character. Lost all his sympathy at the end. Thanks, STEM Kidz. That was really great.
That's what we ended on?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What would you like to plug? You can go around and plug anything you have individually or as a team.
Come to the clubhouse every second and fourth Thursday for our show that we host with Beck Drysdale called Eureka.
9 p.m.
Yeah, it's a really good time. We've got some really incredible acts in the past. We've got some great ones lined up.
Jugglers.
No jugglers.
Yet, yeah. Never say never. We could get the Sparkling Town jugglers in whenever we need.
We're having zero jugglers. I'm guaranteeing that.
Yeah, it's a great show. A real. I don't know how to say this and it not sound like it's not a compliment. But
good start.
There we go.
Okay.
The table has been set.
But it's like a real high quality, well produced show.
Thanks, Jake.
But I feel like anytime you compliment something that isn't directly about the comedy to comedians, they're like, "Oh, but is it funny?"
Yeah, the lighting was really good.
Yeah,
You guys look like you had a lot of fun up there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a great show. I love that show.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
We also perform at the opposite weeks as our regular show. So the first and third Fridays. First and third Fridays.
Follow us on
Do the
Instagram at STEM Kidz LA, and it's kids with a Z at STEMKIDZ LA, and maybe we'll add you to our close friends list to get a peek inside the crowd.
No, we will not.
We will not.
We will
Come
not be adding
see
you to our
Sean Q
close
and I
friends list.
performing two Prav as Continental Brunch.
And me and Sean touring the Nairobi circuit.
Anything else?
Does anyone have any individual plugs? I don't. I have nothing going on.
I got nothing.
It's all about the team today, baby.
I've been booked a lot, but it's about the team.
Yeah, I mean, you can see my HBO special. But
It's about the team today. My publicist handles stuff like that.
Add A Stroke of Genius to your queue. Watch that with Greg
I
Kinnear.
really don't think I will.
I thought it was a flashes.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a flash.
I'd like to plug all of Greg Kinnear's catalog.
Oh, yeah. I want to issue a correction. Earlier, Katie said Greg Kinnear was in Sleepless in Seattle. I think he's in You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
I think he's in both. No, I thought it's Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman is in Sleepless in Seattle. And we love Bill Pullman as a teen.
Okay, so I have like a blind spot to Bill Pullman. Anyway, you're right.
While we're doing
I did until I had pulmonary edema.
We should also correct that Michael Crichton did not write Hot Zone.
Oh.
And also that he's dead. Anyway, that's our plugs.
That's why he was a robot, though.
Yeah, Westworld. All right, thanks, STEM Kids.
Thank you.
Bye.
Long, long time ago.
Thanks so much for listening to Wimpy. We Improv makes podcasts for you with me, Jake Jabor. I hope you enjoyed it. I've only recorded 2 of these. One I stumbled through, but I'm going to leave it in. And let's see if I stumble through this one. I want to shout out Lisa Gilroy for letting me use her music. That was truly awesome. She's the best. And I want to thank my guests who took time to interview with me. And I want to shout out the teams who came down and improvised and let me play with them. You all have made my life much, much better. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in classes and shows, you can check out weimprov.org or follow us on Instagram at weimprov. We also have merchandise. Get a hat, get a shirt, get a hoodie. If you want exclusive merchandise, you can join pre-Weemium memberships for as little as $10 a month. And check out my book, Elevator Farts. It's exercises, offers, and notes of encouragement for improvising. I think it's pretty great. Small. I call it a lap book. Fits on your lap. Keep it in your back pocket. Take it to your improv class. Say, Jake says to do it differently. They'll say, who the fuck is he? And you'll go, good point. And you can just put it in one of those tiny free libraries. This has been Wimpy. I've been Jake. You've been wonderful. Ta-ta.